Welcome to the Nuff Said podcast. We are talking Season 4, Episodes 7 and 8 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I am one of your hosts. I'm Rob Southgate. With me is...
Alil Kanitsa.
Hey, Alil. It's been a while.
It has. It's been like a long vacation, but not a fun one. You know, I miss talking about the show.
I do too. It's been a lot of work for the last few weeks, which is between school and I was directing and just life and then Christmas, and it's been too much. So I'm glad you wrote to me today and said, hey man, like the show's about to start, we should probably finish these up. So here we are. Still haven't seen Doctor Strange, and guess what? It's out of theaters now.
Really?
Yeah. I have to wait until it's at the super cheap theater to get out to see it. It's like I've been in a black hole. I haven't had a chance to do anything. And that one, I was dying. I actually was all set to go like opening weekend, and it fell through. Things kept falling through. And then this last week, I had plans. We were going to go see Star Wars and Doctor Strange. Still haven't seen either one. So
disappointing, Rob. I can tell you that they're both very good.
I know. It's killing me, man. So here we are. At least I was able to watch these two episodes, so that's something. Still haven't finished Luke Cage yet, though. Did you finish that? You did, of course, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we wanted to do that special where we were going to do each episode, you and I, but Charlie and Maz are killing it on Cage Cast. So, I don't know. We should figure something else out that we can do for our Patreon listeners. Unless you want to go and do that.
Well, we could ask them, or we could ask the audience what would they like to hear from us. So.
I think that's probably the best choice. Audience, you're on. What do you want us to do? We want to have a Patreon only show, maybe a limited run, 8 to 12 episodes. Do you want us to review something? What do you want out of that? Let us know. Write to us, tweet to us. You can write to us at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. You can tweet us at Nuff Said Podcast. You can write on our Facebook page. There's a lot of activity over there. Just look up Nuff Said. So, or you can write to like Charlie or Phil over at All New Marvel Review or Super Connectivity. That'll get to us too, and maybe we can force those guys to do something too. So, good call, Alil. Good call. Plus, in this next year, you guys are going to want to get on our email list because we are going to have some special giveaways from Entertainment Earth. We have a Doctor Who one that we're about to launch. We have one from Supernatural we're about to launch. And they said once we get, like around the next big movie, they wanted to do something with us for that. So get ready. We'll have some Marvel stuff coming your way from that. But you got to get on our email list to know about that. You got to get on our social media. And we'll put lots of ways, just like League of Geeks, lots of ways that you can get in there and try to win this stuff. So, all right, that's enough shilling. Although you want to give any shilling? You want to give some of your League of Geeks shilling?
No, actually, we don't have anything we're shilling right now, so we're good.
All right. Well, then let's get going. First episode, Season 4, Episode 7, deals with our devils. Basically, we're going to do both episodes. It's been a while since we've seen them, so we're just going to rock through them a little bit here. I've got my notes. Do you have notes on it, or are you just going off memory?
Well, more off memory. I have a little bit of an outline here, but I mean, this is the one that left a really good cliffhanger where Coulson, Fitz, and Reyes, Ghost Rider, they disappeared. At the very end.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called, but it went off.
This was actually one of the cooler things that's happened this season. I think, in fact, these two episodes go together real well. This whole thing of them going into that like netherworld in between, the cliffhanger that happened before we found that out, like all of that was really cool. Like I actually was sitting here going, okay, unless they're going to pull some bunk like they went to another planet like they did on the last season, they got something interesting going on here.
Yeah, but again, it was I wanted more.
I did too.
It was so good here because I mean we have so they're in this parallel dimension that nobody can see them, they can see everybody else. I did like that because I like the fact that Fitz figured out that Mace was doing some stuff not up to up to his par as he claimed he was being, which was good stuff. I mean, all that stuff was good. It was good build up. It was awesome seeing that Robbie lost the Ghost Rider because the spirit did not want to get pulled back down, because basically they were dying. They were going back to, I guess the spirit was getting pulled to hell.
Yeah. And Robbie was, I love this too. And Robbie was going cold.
Yeah. Yep.
That was really cool. I was getting a little afraid they were writing themselves into a corner here, though. I kind of felt like I was digging what was going on, but as it was playing out, I thought, are they going to kill off Robbie because he's not the Ghost Rider they want to use in either Netflix or the MCU? Is this going to be expendable? And that would have been a real crime if they had actually done that. But they kind of skated that way. I thought they might do it.
They did, and when we get to episode 8, they could go either way. I guess we're talking about both. I mean, at the end of that episode, Robbie's kind of gone.
At the end of 8, I don't think so.
Well, but the thing is if they wanted to use Johnny Blaze or somebody else, they could, and they could have just written it off.
So what do you think about that?
He could be there.
What do you think about that? They have the Johnny Blaze cameo. At least that's who we're assuming it is. What do you think of that? Are they setting us up that Johnny Blaze will be used, or are they... Because he didn't just transfer it to Robbie, right? He walked away. He was still a Ghost Rider. Right.
It seems like he gave him his own spirit. I don't believe that there can only be one spirit of vengeance. I believe it's more.
So do you think that's what they're building? Is like they're almost building like a Ghost Rider universe?
No, I don't think they're going that deep, but it leaves them open if it does get into Netflix. Because here's the thing: by the time it gets to Netflix, they're going to be able to do whatever they want, because Netflix is already busy with, Iron Fist is coming out in 3 months.
And they announced Luke Cage Defenders. 2. So now you've got Luke Cage 2, Daredevil 3, Jessica Jones 2.
Punisher's got his series. That's already...
Defenders. And if you watch those trailers for Iron Fist is going to be fantastic. People are going to want a sequel to that too.
And that's the Netflix problem. There's not in yes, people can say, well, Netflix can just keep making more and more. But the thing is, you start thinning out the production studios. You start, bringing in people B and C.
Like I've said before, I think the smart thing to do at this point, they shouldn't have announced a Luke Cage 2. What they should have done is done a Heroes for Hire series where you have those two, period. Now you've solved your problem of a season 2. For 2, you've opened up one slot.
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know where the story... See, here's the thing. I don't care if the story takes me to a good place, because Luke Cage 2 might not be ready for Heroes for Hire. They might be the Defenders end of the Defenders, but it might not lead us to a Heroes for Hire.
Right,
they're not going to be buddy-buddy. It might be a jumping off point after 2 or after Iron Fist 2. We don't know, because here's the other thing. They don't want to... I don't think that they're not confident, but again, they have to wait and see what they get out of Iron Fist and how popular that is and what they can do with him. Because you're right, they can change the story. It's not like they're putting together pieces. They're outlining it right now, because it's what are we, probably 2019 before we see Luke Cage 2? Yeah. So if Iron Fist is super popular and people like it together, and then the story leads into that way, I can see it. But if the story could lead us into different directions, because they both have an array of comics that they have done alone.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? You're right. I was thinking of a way to solve the problem of making space, but from a storytelling standpoint, it might be better. Give us a Luke Cage 2, give us an Iron Fist 2, see if that leads to Heroes for Hire. At some point they're going to do that. They have to. Either that, or it's going to be part of the Defenders story. And Defenders may be a one-shot. One-shot those and done.
You never know. Because we've seen it. We've seen the changes to how the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing it. Captain America Civil War, it's Captain America 3, but it had everybody in it.
See, I don't think that that's going to be the case, though. I think Defenders is their Avengers, their TV Avengers. I think they will do this Defenders series. They'll have these couple of standalones. They'll do another Defenders series, but it may not be the exact same lineup.
Well, true.
And this is how, all of a sudden, Punisher is in there. And maybe Jessica Jones is gone, but Elektra's in, or, who knows?
But what I'm saying is Luke Cage season 2 might still end up being Heroes for Hire, but we don't know until the end, because Jessica Jones had, our introduction to Luke Cage, and he was in several episodes.
Right.
It wasn't just Jessica Jones alone in this alone world.
Yeah, the rumor is that Hellcat is going to be in Jessica Jones too. Like, she's going to be fully in the Hellcat outfit.
Well, you said in Defenders, and I called you on that. That wasn't happening there. Jessica Jones too. I'll buy that, and that's the other thing I'm saying with Luke Cage too.
I still say by the end of Defenders,
they still need to flesh out Misty May. They need to still flesh out these other characters that are big in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, but I still say at the end of Defenders, you see her in the outfit. I'm not saying a long time. I'm saying by the end of it, we see it, so we get teased.
No, there's enough teases that Hellcat is not the tease that they're going to leap out of Defenders with. There's more than enough that they're going to do. If the Hellcat is the tease, I will not be happy with that.
True.
That is not satisfying for a
true
Marvel fan. I like the fact that we would get Hellcat. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But Jessica Jones season 2, she has a reason to start fighting. She's in there. She helps save Jessica. Whatever. Perfect. It's the perfect marriage of that story arc.
Well, she already had done it though. They implied that she had the costume and she had already been Hellcat. They implied that. Yes. Remember when she was working out and she made a line in there about I won't wear the costume anymore. Don't you remember that?
I don't remember that. Maybe
she made a comment about it, and it was like, wait a minute, she's already been Hellcat at this point. She's already played this role and gave it up, hid it away. But now she was starting to fight again, and she was doing all that working out, and things were getting weird for her. And like Jessica's not in an outfit or anything either, but she made a comment about that. And we very well could see. I mean, if you read those Jessica Jones comics, yeah, there's the whole series where she's wearing the jeans and the leather jacket, but they also have ventured into territory where she's wearing her costume. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jessica Jones 2, we don't get something dealing with the costume somehow. Is it going to look just like the comics? No. It's going to look more like, X-Men. How they went all leather and, it's going to be more like that, I have a feeling. Same thing with Hellcat. I think Hellcat is going to be a much more subdued version of what we've seen in the comics.
Okay.
It's my guess. Okay, back to the show. The demon enters Mac. Okay, I have two thoughts on this. One, the positive is I thought it was awesome when it went into Mac, and I was like, all right. Second is I don't know if I like the idea that this demon just transfers over to Mac, and we know they're not going to kill off Mac or have him become the Ghost Rider. That's ridiculous. So it was like kind of a wasted thing. It was cool seeing him jump on the motorcycle and haul out of there, and you knew he was, the demon. But it seems a little. What we know of the Ghost Rider is he doesn't go from person to person like that.
Right. And
that seemed a little cheap.
I agree with that. I get it for the story here because it was pulling away from Reyes and it had to latch on.
Right.
It worked. I liked that it went on Mac. I just wanted more out of it from Mac.
Well, we did see him transfer. I wanted to see, have him change so that he looks different than Robbie.
Yes,
and he's so huge. Have him be like a big, scary Ghost Rider where it's like obvious, like, oh no, the big guy on the show transferred. But instead, he just looked like it could have been Robbie. Could have been anybody.
Yeah, so, I think that was my problem with it.
Yeah.
It's just could have been anybody.
I did like when Robbie was caught between worlds with Coulson and Fitz, and like when they were in the car and Daisy was driving and he was talking to her, but she couldn't hear him. I thought this was played really well. The writing was clever in here. She would say things and it was like, or he would say things and she was answering him. And at first you're kind of like, wait, is she hearing him? Then you realize, no, the dialogue is completely separate. She's talking like you do when you drive. He's just, but it seems like she's reacting. I thought that was a clever scene. I enjoyed that. I didn't want it to go on any longer, but I liked it.
Yeah, it was good for short bursts. I mean, these 2 episodes were very good. They told a good story. I just wish they didn't. It didn't feel like an end to the Ghost Rider, because it did. It felt like an end to the Ghost Rider. So, moving on. I mean,
you know what? That goes back to something you've been right about this whole time. This has just come out this week. They are not going to bring Ghost Rider back. We knew that, but they're saying they've just come out and said it. Too expensive. Too expensive to do this. Well, so why did you do Ghost Rider? You kept giving us these tiny tastes of Ghost Rider. You never paid off, really. And now he's gone. Now, does that mean that he's gone permanently? Or do you think maybe we'll get a one-shot episode where he comes back like they did with, what's his name, Deathlock?
Yeah, probably one shot. But even Deathlock, I mean, that wasn't expensive. I mean, what did it really show? That was just a
spray-painted football uniform.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that he can still be called upon if needed, if they ever get to a bigger bad. But that's my worry then, is what's the bigger bad? You know, they're going to the LMDs here, which could be a cool storyline depending on where they take it off to, but it just seems forced because, again, like we said, well, we can't spend this much money anymore. Let's do something cheap. Oh, human androids. So
yeah, I would have preferred
costumes.
I would have preferred the LMDs to be around for at least another half a season. Maybe we see more of them before the system goes corrupt. Right. So that it puts some threat there. Right now, it's one.
And
so now it's one bad walking around, causing some trouble. Then they figure out it's her, and then they got to shut her down. It's, and she'll be trying to build an army of LMDs. So it's Ultron.
Ultron. Yeah, she's got the knowledge from the Darkhold, and
that
what's
sounds like
there.
Jack.
It's just it's a little annoying.
Yeah,
I hope it's great because there is potential there, but it seems like they keep falling short of that potential.
Right. Yeah, I'm not busting on the show. I mean, I'm still digging it, and I'm excited to see what they do. But it's starting to lose elements for me again. This seems to happen every season, and then it picks up, and I get all excited. This one, where I should have gotten really excited, it kind of fell flat right there. It kind of peaked.
Right, and really, where was our tie-in to Doctor Strange? I mean,
there wasn't any. I mean, it was brief.
Well, they claimed some like similar type of with like the Darkhold, like with the magic. You know how she was kind of using that to open the portal.
Yeah,
that was tie-in, just like Doctor Strange, and I'm like, but that's not the tie-in we needed. I mean, come on. I mean, it was just. I mean, even if you got easily done show up and just take the book back, that's all you needed.
Yeah, I mean, the guy does TV. Why not? And there are other characters in Doctor Strange that you could have used. There are people that are not a Cumberbatch, prestige, that you could have had them come and pick up the Darkhold. And you would have been like, oh, yes, it ties in. I need to take this back to Doctor Strange. That would have been awesome.
BD1, he could have had him come and pick up the book. It could have been a bunch of things. It could have been anything to tie in. I mean, that's what I think I love S.H.I.E.L.D. the most, is it's the little nugget tie-in. It doesn't have to be. I get it. And we all want, I would love to see Iron Man fly in and sit there and have a conversation with Coulson.
I think it's obvious now that kind of stuff's not going to happen.
No, and it's disappointing, but you could at least give us little nuggets. They did. The Winter Soldier tie-in was great.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Age of Ultron tie-in was great. Give us some of these tie-ins.
Doing more with tying the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff in, it worked really well. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of this mess. It feels like they're building two universes.
But it's back, though. I mean, that's the thing.
I know, but it doesn't feel cohesive right now. And that having somebody come and pick up the Darkhold that was in the Doctor Strange movie would have gone a long way to tying it all right back together.
And because here's the thing. The end of this season, there's no tie-in to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And then the next movie is Thor. I'm not counting Spider-Man Homecoming because I highly doubt a tie-in there.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do a tie-in there. But they're not going to do it with Thor either, because Thor's all in space. Everything's all in space. This was an opportunity to do something here.
The only thing that can redeem itself is if there's a tie-in to Iron Fist and maybe it leads into something with the Defenders.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of. If
and there should
somehow
be
do it because I know Coulson loves Iron Fist. I mean, in real life.
And there were implications about this with the island that the Inhumans were on, how it only appeared at certain times and all that. Everyone thought this is going to end up being where Iron Fist is from.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen, but maybe they'll make some kind of tie-in there. This, to me, is a bit of a problem. They need to, where we were championing Marvel for this type of, nuggets and tying it together, now we're looking at it going, where is your super connectivity? It would be very easy to put these just tiny things in. You don't even have to, they're not even going to cost you any money, really, and make it so the fan connects the dots and goes, yeah, it's all there. But right now, I'm feeling more of a disconnect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know how they can fix it. I mean, I know how they can, but they won't.
They can very easily,
but they won't.
No, I don't know. They certainly didn't hear. And if this LMD thing is, I mean, this is what we're getting in the second half of the season. It could be a big drop off in viewership. We might be entering the last time we're seeing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm a little afraid of that. It was more, it got good reviews. People were liking it in the first half of the season. The numbers were climbing up, but they're not great.
No,
and now you finally had a hero on there, and I mean hero. I'm using the term loosely, but you pull that rug out from under that now, and you go, well, now we don't know any of the characters on here again, and there's no tie to anything that we're seeing in these movies that we love or these other shows we love. It might get a little tough for them, and I think that's a big mistake.
Here's my problem. Here's my biggest worry about all this, and it's something that I had fought my co-host on the League of Geeks about, and that is the Inhumans TV series. Because if Ghost Rider is costing them too much,
how are they doing the Inhumans?
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I really am
too. If Ghost Rider costs too much, or maybe they're just putting all their money towards Inhumans, which also might be they might know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not pulling the numbers that a full-on superhero show could. So maybe they're putting their eggs in the other basket. They're gonna see if this has legs while they take the super elements out of it. And if it does, we continue on. If not, everything goes into the humans. And that might be a mistake too, because I mean, you and I know who some of the Inhumans are. I'm sure most of our fans know who some of these Inhumans are, but just the general populace?
Well, here's the thing.
Like when you say they didn't know Iron Man, yeah, they did know Iron Man. He was second tier, but they did know who Iron Man was.
Not everybody, but everybody knew who Robert Downey Jr. was. I think
I always look at it like if I ask my dad, who didn't read any comic books, who didn't care about all those toys that were on my shelf as far as the superhero stuff, it was all Star Wars for him. He would know who Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, he'd know those guys. No way did he know the Guardians. Now he thinks they're cool. He still doesn't know who any of them are, except there's a raccoon in it and a tree. He would not know. He doesn't know Iron Fist. He may have heard of Daredevil. Ghost Rider, he's heard of. Inhumans? No.
Well,
not a one.
But the difference is that Marvel, they're getting some money to back it. IMAX is paying for.
Right. IMAX
my
is paying
only
for those
saving grace. This has been my argument for it is why maybe because number one, this is like an 8-episode series. It's going to be a short series,
right? And that IMAX money might be enough to make that happen.
Right. It might give us what we need. Will it give us what it deserves? I can't tell you.
Well, plus I
because they're not going to have a.
There is a movie in the future. So it's like, well, how much are they going to put into this 8-episode thing if they are planning an Inhumans movie? Is this just to test the waters?
I don't know.
What is this?
I mean, if it was to test the waters, then they should have done it with S.H.I.E.L.D. and given us better Inhumans.
But maybe they didn't have the backing they do for this 8-episode run. And maybe this 8-episode run is the test market they're looking for. If they can get backers, if they can get other support to pour money in for an 8-episode or a 10-episode run, just like they do on Netflix, maybe this is where they pull out of a thing like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and say, why are we doing 22 episodes a year? Why are we paying for this?
Maybe.
Although it might pull enough in revenues from advertising and that it's worth it to let that be what it is, but just don't put the money for the special effects into it that much.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
it makes the show not be what you and I want it to be. But at the same time, I'm going to say this too. You could still go back to what we talked about originally with this show, with S.H.I.E.L.D. If you take that super element out of it, which, that's the big argument. Let's say they do that. Let's say they make it a less expensive show. Okay? Go back to it being a show about, it's your James Bond story from the Marvel Universe. Do that story. Give us a thriller espionage with this element around it, rather than trying to go into the superhero thing, but not wanting to spend the money for the supers.
I don't know. I mean, here's my problem: is they're already introducing supers that are involved, and what are they going to do? Never use their powers? I mean, Daisy, it's probably not really
are cheap,
costly, but it's still extra money, and you have to tell a story around it.
Yeah,
you got the Patriot with Mace. I mean, there's a show titled episode 10 is called The Patriot, so I'm guessing he becomes full-fledged Patriot in this. I mean, he had a S.H.I.E.L.D. Patriot super suit at the end of this at the end of episode 8 when they went and worked together, which was a great ending for it. You know what I mean? Because you had Daisy coming back to the fold.
Well, maybe
protecting her.
Maybe the stuff with a guy like him is a lot cheaper than a Ghost Rider with all the CGI.
Of course it is, because he can be himself for 40 minutes of the show and then throw something heavy or whatever. But it's still not. Is it satisfying? See, season 1.
I think it'd be satisfying if you had strong storytelling that was this espionage thing, and you had somebody like him that is part of the team.
They already blew the espionage thing. I mean, because here's the thing: the Hydra stuff was terrific.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Then the Hydra stuff got off the rails.
Yep,
with Hive and everything. The whole Hydra flip. I mean, that's the problem too, because they're in the line with the movies. So once all that went down, it kind of withered away. I mean, that's why it was great, because that whole thing wore that, and even kept up in the second season. And trust me, there were bad episodes in season 1, bad episodes in season 2, but the overall story with, who's on your side, who's not, S.H.I.E.L.D. crumbling, that all worked. And that all could work without super beings. Where do you go from here? Especially when this universe has gotten so much bigger now.
Right. And
so many more super beings are involved. The espionage thing is really, I mean, the espionage thing is.
I still say you could do it.
Do it. I want to see Hawkeye. I want to see these guys do that kind of stuff, because May is not. She's not who we expected her to become in season 1. After season 1,
true.
Coulson has fallen. Now he's more, to me, become more like a weird I'm not gonna say it's exactly like it, but it's like I'm watching The Office, and he is like become the Michael Scott of The Office, like a great character that you love and you want to follow, but just kind of like comes in and says the goofy one-liner. I mean, he has his moments, and I'm not saying he is that character, but I'm just saying you look at that and it's like, maybe it was good to give him take him off as director. Does that mean
of S.H.I.E.L.D. in like season 7 we're gonna get Ultron coming in and replacing him as Robert California?
Loved Robert California. He was great. I don't know. It's just missing something, and I can't put my finger on. Again, I can put my finger on it, but I can't put my finger on it what it could do here for TV. Like, because I understand their budget constraints, so I don't know what they can do for their budget constraints, except for making. You know what? Maybe my big problem here is the writing. Maybe these writers need to go. Maybe we need a whole new. They need to go and talk to the people who are writing the Netflix series and maybe get a little bit. They want it a bit more grounded. They moved it up a time slot from now it's 9 o'clock to 10.
Right. Which
You know,
we had
go
said,
dark.
maybe you can tell a little bit harder story.
Go darker, go harder.
Yeah.
They did with the Ghost Rider. I mean, Ghost Rider's story is pretty tough. I mean, he flat out murdered people. I mean, he did that jail scene. I mean, he's
That
murdered.
jail scene. He's like burning people alive.
So yeah, so then go harder, and maybe you know what? Maybe this LMD storyline will be good, and I hope it is. I just don't know.
And maybe that is the espionage story that we're talking about. Maybe that's when I say espionage, it's not necessarily that, but it's the Shield story rather than the super story. Maybe that's what this is. And you've got the supers that are around at the Secret Warriors, but they only have to come in and do their Secret Warrior thing once every 3-4 episodes.
Right.
Okay, I got a couple of Mac lines I want to bring up because I wrote them down and I thought, you know what, these should be mentioned. One was in episode 7 when he said, "My axe is pretty sharp and a shotgun." I thought that was a good line. And I also liked when everyone was talking about Coulson calls in the Secret Warriors, and they're all talking about like how they're going to deal with all this, and Mac just goes, "Doesn't anybody remember Ultron?" I thought that was funny. This is a major world event. The guy this creature lifted up an entire city and dropped it to Earth. And they're just going on about their business. And Mac's like, yeah, really? The yo-yo effect was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And once again, that's a cheap effect. That is a really cheap effect. You can use that. And I like that they seem to be doing something with it. So she's not just a speedster, you know. She does this and it's got limitations. It's got a certain thing. She is a yo-yo. She goes zip, zip, and that's it. I think that's pretty cool. I do think that her and Mac. Oh, it was Mace that said the thing about Ultron. Her and Mac is a little thin. You know, in the beginning he was, it's like they had this relationship and he was married to his job and blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of went away. And then in this one, it kind of came back. And I'm like, yeah, that's so that they have something to talk about on the web series, or I don't know. Did you
watch it?
No, is it on already?
I don't know.
Dang it. Now I got to look it up.
I couldn't even tell you. I kind of didn't care. I mean, I like the fact that Quesada got involved, and I guess he's directed one. But when I heard they were 5-minute episodes, I was just like,
I just wait until they're collected.
Yeah, I'm not.
What's it called? Slingshot?
Yeah.
All right.
I thought they were supposed to be out now over this bridge period, but could be wrong.
Here we go. Marvel Slingshot. Let's see if it's available. Episode 1, it listed on here. Episode 2. Oh yeah, you can watch them.
Okay.
They're on here. There's 6 episodes. It looks like they're pretty short. Yeah, maybe by the next episode I'll scan through these, watch these, and see what I think. I always like the one shots from Marvel. If this is going to be something they're going to use, this was sponsored by Geico, so they got money to do it from Geico. I don't have a problem with that. Get a third party in there paying for these little short things. They've done it with Walking Dead. With Fear the Walking Dead, they did a half hour that tied into the season, and they just did a second one. I didn't love what they did with them, but I like the idea. And I like the idea of this, so we'll see if it's any good. This might be our solution to those mini episodes they used to do.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. Oh, here's a highlight. When Coulson threw Ghost Rider the chain, when they were having the big fight, and he got pulled right to hell. I thought that was that was awesome. It's 5 minutes at the end of a whole season. I don't have a huge, awesome scene, but I could have used more, but it was cool. Let's see, what else happened here? Ada is programmed to feel pain. She was creating a brain. This is all stuff leading us towards next season, or the second half of the season. And then we saw Ada kill Agent Nathanson. So she's off the rails. And she's got May? I don't remember that.
Yeah, she May is an LMD.
What? How did I forget this?
It was at the very end. It was the end little.
So she
teaser,
has May trapped, and she's created a copy of
LMD
me.
it,
Yeah, I remember that.
We don't know where. We don't know when that took place. Like,
How
that's my
long
only
May has
question
been the
here.
LMD? And well, to me that had to be all like when she was creating that brain. We saw her doing that in this episode. I think that's where it happened. I think she created that. That gave her the tools to create this May. She created the other LMD, and you know what? It's the technology. It couldn't have been hard for her to do because they already had the technology that did the masking, where they made the one we thought was Madame Mask made the fake May mask. So it's the same kind of thing. I think it's kind of funny that they used the same character to do that with.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what they did. That we had this fake May that had infiltrated. We've got that again.
And yeah. And that's the problem here. It feels like a rehash here again, of what they've been doing and
Exactly.
and why it feels so thin. So, and maybe Mace and his story arc will be a big part of this, and we're going to get a lot of the Patriot here, and
and maybe the LMD hook is a better one for them to grip onto than the Patriot because nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, but nobody knows what an LMD is.
True. I said it, and as I've said, I'm thinking, crap, I stepped in that rabbit hole.
I mean, yes, we know. Tony Stark said it in the first Avengers.
Right.
But nobody knew. I mean, 90% of the audience that never read a comic or knew anything about Marvel, when he said, this is live model equal, and nobody even paid attention. Like, they were just laughing at how Robert Downey Jr. was hamming it up.
Right. True.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it seems like there's potential here again, but I mean, that's my problem is I keep saying there's potential, and we're now at season 4.5. We're starting the second half of season 4, and it hasn't reached what we all have hoped. And how much more can we give to the show?
But see, the problem is we say that, but then it has given us enough good that we keep going back to the well. It's just we haven't gotten that consistency that we're looking for. And every time we start to think we're getting there, things like this, we're taking Ghost Rider out of it, get pulled out from under us, and we go, wait a minute. I mean,
has it given us enough good? A total of, 10 minutes of screen time in half a season of Ghost Rider as Ghost Rider? That's not giving us the good.
No, but where it has done it is I do really like a lot of these characters.
I agree. I love Coulson. I have a Coulson action figure. I have a Coulson Funko Pop. But it's just not... It's just... I needed him more in the MCU than here by himself.
Agreed.
Him playing off of Thor, him playing off of Downey, him doing those little things in and out.
And he was so great.
And in Avengers, he was terrific with him and Cap. I mean, all that. Like, he needs to get back to that. But the problem is they've... In the MCU now, everything is so dismantled and everybody is all over the place.
Yeah,
there's nothing for him to do. What I mean? Because it's now we've got.
Well, they had their opportunity when they made him director for that time. They could have had him show up as director, and it would have been great.
Yeah, but he was the secret director. Because Shield wasn't legit yet. I mean,
stupid. They missed their opportunity with that one.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know if I sound, believe me, I am a huge Marvel fan here, and I know I sound like I'm poo-pooing it. It's because we're on a show here talking about it.
Right.
If I was on my own show where I have to defend it, I will defend it tooth and nail.
Right. Well, and that's just it. I mean, end of the day, the reason we do this is we're huge fans.
Correct.
So, and I don't think we're throwing a lot of hate. I think we're just throwing out concerns. And underneath that concern is the hope that it will work and get fixed. And you know what? If it doesn't, there is plenty of other stuff Marvel has going on that we can hitch our wagon to. With between this Inhumans thing, all the Netflix shows, the other things they're doing, there's just a ton of content to work from. It's just I wish this show could get it right.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree.
So we made a mistake. I looked this up while we were talking. We said that the new episode is going to happen tomorrow, I believe.
It's next week. It's the 10th.
It's next week. It's on the 10th. So we'll be back to our regular schedule on the 10th, after the 10th. And we will do what we have done in the past. Those of you that don't know, this is your chance to find out. We have put up our own YouTube channel for Nuff Said. I'll make sure to put a link on our Facebook page so you can subscribe. And we're putting basically YouTube versions of all of our shows up there, which are just basically audio versions with pictures. But when we record Nuff Said, Alil and I try to record it live on Google Live. What is it? No, Google Hangout or YouTube Live. Same thing. So there will be a link that'll go up on Facebook or tweet it out just before we do that. So that should start up again next week. What do we record on? Wednesdays, right? It'll be on Wednesday. And then we take that, we edit it, and make that its own YouTube presentation. So if you miss it live, you can watch it after the fact. Plus, we've added like the Mighty Nuff Said Reading Club, which is a YouTube only show. So you definitely want to follow that stuff. But we will be doing the live thing, and when we do it, get on there and talk to us. Join in the chat room. There's a chat that's on live. Tweet us questions. Tweet us comments. We want as much interaction as we can get. And please tell us what you think we should do for this Patreon show, because we're willing to do it. We want to do it. That's enough. Are you done with this one?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's wrap it up. Alil, tell people how they can get in touch with you. Tell them where to follow you.
All right. I do a podcast called the League of Geeks podcast as well. That's Geeks with a Z. You can find me on Twitter at LOGEEKZ. Excellent.
And, I'm on tons of different things. Probably let's just stick to Nuff Said for now. You can follow me personally on Twitter at rsouthgate. You can follow the show at Nuff Said Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on, I don't know what else we're on. We're on like everything. YouTube. Just look up Nuff Said Podcast or Nuff Said Universe. And we are hoping to get a live show at s4e8 this year. So everybody put your good thoughts towards that, because that would be cool. If that happens, Charlie is going to be joining us live, which would be cool. I don't know if I ever shared the Jack Nuff Said live from our marathon. I might have to put that on here too. Because Jack was with Alil and I at a live show, so I think I gotta put that on too. And that's it. I think I've talked it out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until next week, Nuff Said.
Nuff said.